Well, here we are. A month and a half in the making, and we made it. Now, originally, this video was supposed to come out like 6 months ago. I basically had the idea of another Patapon challenge run, and this came up. And I was doing pretty well until I reached a roadblock in the run, so I decided to work on different videos in the meantime while I figure out how to get past it. But then one day, I boot up the game, and my save file is gone. Oh no, not just that one. All of my save data on all of my PSP games are gone. It just randomly disappeared out of nowhere. And that basically just killed my motivation to work on that video. So I just canceled it for the meantime. But I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. So I picked up the challenge back in late October. Started doing it. And now here we are. Now that's out of the way. Can you beat Patapon 2 with only the hero Patapon? Now the rules are simple. I cannot use any other unit that isn't the hero. I can use the Patagate because those are heroes, so it makes sense. But I will allow another thing. I'm going to allow the use of normal Patapons in hunts, so like to grind for like resources, because like if I just do it with the hero, it's just going to take forever, and this video would probably still be in the works if that was the case. So cut me some slack here. And I don't want to torture myself like the last video, so give me the benefit of the doubt here. So let's get started. Alright, so we're gonna have to fast forward a bit with the way we unlock hero, since you don't really start with it. So after we unlock hero, Ben tells the Almighty to name him. So I'm just gonna name him Neku, because that just came up to my head. And then we start off with the first boss, Dodonga. And now you would think this would be really hard with just Neku in the ground, but it was actually pretty easy. His attacks don't do very much damage, and his most devastating attack, the headbutt, he doesn't go for very much, so he dies really quickly. So for the first Carmen mission, Uso Forest isn't too bad. Neku's spear ability overall is a great ability, being able to take out multiple enemies at once, like in like 1 or 2 spears. Except these Patapon Carmens, they are a big problem due to their high HP, and since I got no units, they're gonna be aiming for Patapon. And you know what happens when Patapon dies, so I gotta kill these guys as fast as possible. We keep going, and then... oh. That's not a hero Patapon. Okay, I'm not counting this since it's out of my control. And you know, this video has a long way to go, so overall this mission is pretty easy. The next mission, A Noble Death. We keep going, and this mission is basically a harder version of the last one. And the Patapon Carmens are the biggest threat here, due to them having higher health than before. And since Deku doesn't do that much damage to them, Patapon is going to take some big damage, and he eventually dies. So I try again, same outcome, so I decided to switch Neku to the Kibapon class, and bam, mission is a lot easier. Now for the next boss, Mochichichi. I decided to switch to Dekakon for this because Dekapon's high HP and high damage output. As for Mochichichi, she's pretty easy. She's pretty easy just like the Dodonga. She doesn't do very much damage. Heck, I think she does even less damage than the Dodonga. Though her fart move is annoying because of the sleep element, but the fight is over before I know it. After that, I get the Rain Juju and fight Centura. And to be honest, this fight is like ruined for me because of the Rain Juju crap. Because like, why make it so I have to use the Rain Juju to fight him? It just like makes the fight drag on and on and on. Like I hate it when I like have to fight this to farm for like fangs and shit. It takes forever. As for Centura, he's also pretty easy. Most of his attacks can't hit Neku, and the ones that can don't really do any damage at all due to his high stagger rate. I swear, out of all the bosses in this game, this one staggers the most for some reason. But yeah, Centura goes down really easily. For next mission, battle at Mount Ganrock, we encounter Gong once again, and thank God Neku is Dekapon because he takes a lot of damage in this mission. But after the Carmens betray Gong, Gong gives Neku a potion, so we're fine. But at the very end of the mission, Neku dies, so I decide to level him up a bit, and It's a lot more manageable this time, though he still takes a lot of damage, so I made sure to defend a lot. Wait, maybe I should always defend because the damage isn't different at all with the superpower. Next mission, Fortress at a GGG Cliff, is about the same as the last mission. Neku takes a lot of damage to the insane amount of Carmens. So I finally decide to pull out Robopon. And Robopon is an absolute beast with the amount of damage he pulls out. But he can die really fast, so I gotta kill as fast as possible. But another problem with Robopon is that I can't farm materials at the moment. What I have here is what I'm gonna get. But eventually I beat the mission. And now it's time for Faramatara. And out of any mission in this game, this one took me the longest to beat. Here's the problem with Faramatara. Faramatara is a mini-boss in the Carmen mission, so I gotta deal with him while dealing with normal Carmens. And these fucking bird Carmens are the most annoying enemy. The problem with these guys is that I can't hit them. And if you go too far up in the mission, you can't go past them. It just stands still. Like there's an invisible wall blocking me from moving. So I gotta use Yarapon here. And it reaches a point where like somehow Patapon gets stuck instead of Faramatara. Like look at this. How does this happen? And then when he gets stuck, I can't protect him. And then like the Patapon Carmens just pick him off and kill him. And I can't do anything about it. I decided to get the Shubabasa mask for the insane attack speed. When I got that mask, the mission became a complete joke because of this mask. Like Yarapon with the Shubabasa mask is an easy S tier unit. Heck, I probably would have gave up there if it weren't for that mask. Next mission is Sky Castle of the Gods. And thanks to this mask, this mission is pretty easy. But then we get to the part of whatever this thing is. And Neku does not do very much damage to it. And it spawns Akumapons, but they get killed instantly by Neku, so they aren't a problem. It takes a while to destroy whatever this is. Next mission, 2 Carmens, is about the same as the last one, but with a giant ice castle in the end, which pretty easy to take down. Next mission, through the wall of ice. Well, you're fighting through a wall of ice. And I always wondered why the devs put spear Akumapons here in the close quarters area when the spears hit the roof. But this mission is one of the easier Akumapon missions. Up until you run into this guy, Kuwagatan. And he can mess you up if you aren't careful. He can deal insane damage. But thankfully, he can't one-shot me because of the mask I have that increases my HP. Some enemies drop potions, so I'm not too worried. Overall, this mission is easy. And now for a new boss, Man Boss. And he's pretty easy as well. His attacks don't do very much damage, and his most threatening attack only tickles Neku. But what's annoying about Man Boss is his annoying freeze move, where he refreezes himself and everyone else. Like, well, what's the point of that? We're still here. He uses it twice, but he dies after the second time, so. And I decide to fight his alternative, Mambroth, who isn't any different, but I need that charge move, which will be useful for later. Now for the next mission. Memories opened by the Unworld Gate. And out of all the Akumapon missions, this one's the easiest. Since there's barely any Akumapons, and this guy over here is all like, oh, you can't kill me, I'll just come back to life. But he can't really do anything to me at all, he just keeps missing his spear. And Bababon, you think he would be really hard, but he's actually pretty easy since he can't really hit Geku. And he just destroyed pretty quickly. You know, how does one of the hardest missions in Patapon 1 turn into one of the easiest? Pretty ironic. Now we reach at ground zero, where we gotta fight Kuwagatan head on. And the big problem again is the amount of damage he deals. He just decimates Neku so fast. Well, no matter what class I used, I just couldn't do it. But I had an idea. So I'm gonna need the tree rare pawn Moriuso? Is that how you say it? Moriuso? I don't know. Basically the tree rare pawn, because the tree rare pawn has stagger, so if I get it to level 10, Kuwagatan can't hit me. So it took a while to grind, because like trying to get one unit is pretty fucking tedious enough, but we get to it, and Kuwagatan is a pretty good joke, bro. He does not touch me once at all. Man, thank God for this rare pawn. I don't think we would have been able to do it without him. Now for the next boss, Goruru. Goruru can be pretty easy or really hard on how you approach him. But looking at Neku, it looks like it's going to be somewhere around the middle. Goruru attacks can be devastating, but they're easy to dodge. The move that I have to watch out for the most is his grab move, since if he grabs Neku, it's pretty much over. But all I gotta do is break rhythm and we're good. So later in the fight, Goruru turns into his belly form. But the belly form kind of makes the fight easier, since I don't have to deal with that insta-kill move. And that move where he just charges towards Patapon and Neku can just face tank it. It does take a while, but Goruru goes down. And you would think we would go back to Carmen missions. Well, you are wrong, because they throw another boss as us, Feniki. He's basically just a stronger version of Mochichichi, but when he farts or pecks you, it sets you on fire. He uses a spinning move that he rarely uses. I didn't even know, like, until last year. I didn't even know he had that until one of my later playthroughs in last year. But the fight ends fairly quickly. Now for the next mission, crossing Korokan Desert. And now remember when I got the charge move for a very specific reason earlier? The reason I got it was because of this Robopon's charge move where he grabs the dirt and throws it in the air. And that lets me fend off the bird karmas and that pretty much kills them instantly. So they're no longer a problem, but just hopefully he doesn't miss. But overall, the desert mission isn't too bad. Now for a new boss, Saginaw. He's also pretty easy. Like his attacks, they don't do anything at all. Most of the time he goes for his fire breathing attack, which I can just jump with Patapon, so he doesn't take damage. His stomp move, he never really goes for at all. I don't think he even did it like once or twice. But he just kept going for this earthquake move. But you know, I can just jump in. So Saginaw dies really fast. No, I remember this boss being a lot harder in Patapon 1. That's a trend here, like, bosses in Patapon 1 just become jokes in this game. Now for the next mission, Struggle at Akora Oasis. It plays similar to the last few Akumapon missions, where there's a big building at the end, but it spawns Robopon Carmens and breathes fire, but I don't know, out of all the fortresses so far, this one's the least threatening. It doesn't really do anything to Neku. So then we meet the Carmen Generals and the Carmen Overlord. After meeting them, we fight Shuko, who is probably the easiest boss in this entire run. She puts no challenge at all. Like, the only thing she can hurt me is with this pathetic stomp move that does nothing to Neku. And you know that thing where you stagger her, she puts like some sleep spray that doesn't really affect Neku, so she literally cannot hurt Neku at all. She's like the biggest joke in this entire run. So apparently the catapult has been stolen and we gotta get it back in the mission Recover the Zigguton Catapult. But we gotta keep it back without it breaking, because you know, if it breaks we gotta do it again. But thankfully that doesn't happen. Mission isn't too bad. Now for the Carmen General missions. The first one, we gotta fight the Spearbearer. And he's not really that threatening at all. He doesn't really do any damage. Like, the lower class Carmens are more threatening than he is, which is pretty sad. The next one is the Spearbearer. And he's the easiest out of the bunch, since he never really attacks most of the time. He's just staring at us for some reason. But when he does attack, like, he always misses. The main threat here are the bird Carmens and the magic Carmens with their fire weapons that light the catapult on fire. The first attempt goes well until this part where Neku can't hit this bird Carmen for shit. He just kept missing for some reason, and the catapult gets destroyed. The next attempt, I decide to give Neku Yaripon, and it goes much better this time. Though the Spearbearer takes a while to take down because he's a little tanky, but it's not hard. The last one is the Staffbearer, and his charged lightning move, which doesn't do much. And just like the previous two generals, the lower rank Carmens are more threatening than he is. Man, when you first see these guys, like you think these are like top of the line, the most threatening Carmens out of all of them, but then just like one guy just killed them all effortlessly. Now it's time for the mission I've been dreading the most, Parabola of Hope. This is the hardest mission in the game, and for good reason. There are so many archer Carmens that shoot endlessly, what it feels like. So my strategy is to pick off the buildings with the catapult, pick off the enemies one by one with Neku, so the catapult doesn't get destroyed. After all of that, we reached the ultimate fortress. And now, how am I going to destroy this? Well, I can't do it with Robopon since he gets killed really fast. So I decided to pull out Mahopon, and well, it does a lot of damage to the fortress, but more units come out of it, so I have to kill him really fast. And it does take a while. Like I think I'd spend like 10 minutes hitting this thing. But I do manage somehow to destroy the ultimate fortress with the catapult breaking in the process. Bro, these Carmens ain't got shit on me if they lose to one guy, bro. Like, come on. Now for the next mission where Metin gets captured. And now we gotta save her. This is the most annoying mission in the game. It's full of enemies with ice weapons that slow Neku down. And the crossbow that sets him to sleep. And you know, I can't use my overpowered weapons because they set the catapult on fire. And that hurts Metin. So I gotta use normal weapons. But thankfully, Yarpon has the Heaven Spear, so I can do a lot of damage to it. And we destroy the catapult. We destroy the cage. Now for another boss, Kanojias. He's pretty easy. Like, he didn't really do much at all. That's a trend here. Like, the bosses just don't do anything. Now for the last normal Carmen mission, where you encounter the Carmen's biggest weapon yet, Suga Gang. And Robopon wasn't very effective, so I decided to pull out Yarpon with the Shuba Mask with the strongest weapon, and holy shit, this is broken. The amount of damage Neku is dealing is fucking insane. He just decimates Suga Gang so fast. I've never seen it go down this quick. Like every new playthrough, I find new shit. So after this boring Carmen Overlord fight, we reach the final battle with Dekon Carmen. And you guys already know my thoughts on this boss. This is the hardest fight in the game. Because Dekon Carmen attack pattern is really fast and unpredictable. I'm basically not allowed to make mistakes. Because if Neku or Patapon gets hit by his attacks, they both die instantly. I decided to give Neku the Yarpon power since it does more damage than Robopon at this point. Dekon Carmen has 24,000 HP, making the fight last a long while, which is why I went with Yarpon. And this fight takes me the most attempts out of any boss, due to me having to play perfectly. Basically, break rhythm and jump with grab move, retreat with claw move, repeat until it's done. It does take a lot of attempts, but Dekon Carmen goes down. I free the princess, and the game is over. And I successfully beat Patapon 2 with only the hero. Phew! That was an experience. Now, this is one of the harder challenges I've done in this channel. But which challenge was harder? The Patapon 3 default weapons one or this one? I have to say they're on par with difficulty. Both challenges were about the same in length. Patapon 3 and 1 have more grinding, while the Patapon 2 I just had to do grind like a select few times. But in Patapon 3, the enemies took forever to kill, but they didn't really do that much damage to me. So they're on par with each other. So if you ever want to do this challenge, go ahead, give it a try. It's not too bad. So that's the video. Thanks for watching.